What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games. And in today's video, we have another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news and leak update to share with you all today. In today's episode, we're covering lots of Riddler Khu tweets. He talked about the gym leaders, he talked about the names of the final evolutions of the starters, and much, much more. And of course, guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video. I really appreciate it. Starting off with a Scarlet and Violet news update, the Japanese download cards are out. If you don't know what the download cards are, essentially you can pre-purchase these cards and they come with the game. However, you're not allowed to access the game until November 18th. And these download cards actually have a version exclusive difference. This isn't 100% confirmed, but it is weird to have a difference on the cards. So we're looking at the Pokemon Violet card here. You can see Swablu in this position right here. So it seems like Swablu may be a version exclusive because in the same position on the Scarlet card, we have a Psyduck. So maybe Violet's going to be getting Swablu Altaria, Scarlet's going to be getting Psyduck Golduck. If I have to say which one's going to be better between the two just on that exclusive, personally, I'm going to pick the Dragon-type Altaria. Much more of a lovable Pokemon. And I'll have to say this, I do love Psyduck, but I do think Golduck is a completely forgettable Pokemon. So that's another point for Violet if this ends up being a version exclusive. Now for the Riddler Khu leak update. So Riddler Khu started tweeting a bunch this morning, and he said, one gym was closed down before the story started. Guess what type sucked? So we know that one type is currently missing from all of the gym leaders and the Elite Four, and that is the rock type. So there probably was a rock type gym leader, but he's saying that it closed down. And when we look at his tweets further, you can still see the ruins on the map. And we actually have the 4K map. And when you zoom in on the map, this is probably going to be what was the rock type gym leader's gym area. Makes a lot of sense. You're in a desert. There's a lot of rocks. There's even like a construction thing maybe even here. So this is probably really similar to Pokemon Yellow, Red, and Blue when you're in Saffron City and there's the Fighting Dojo that was a gym, but then it ended up not being a gym anymore because the Sabrina's gym was there now. It's probably going to be a same situation here where we may be able to challenge the pass leader here or someone else as a side event, but it's not going to actually give us a true gym badge. I do think it's a really interesting thing though. Riddler Khu then says, so one of the Elite Four members stepped down and regained title of gym leader. No wonder why their gym locations are so close. So when we look at the map here, we have a general idea of where the gyms are, and you can ignore the levels as that isn't confirmed right now for the most part. But we do know that Gresha, the Ice-type gym leader, he is located up on the mountain here. And there is another town right next to Gresha, and we pretty much had an idea that this is where a gym leader was. We didn't know which gym leader would be here, but it makes sense that one of these gym leaders is what Riddler Khu is talking about. They were formerly an Elite Four member, and then they got demoted to gym leader. I wonder what the story implication is there. That sounds really interesting. Maybe they did something evil or messed up. Maybe they weren't strong enough to be in the Elite Four still, and they got replaced by someone else. Riddler Khu then confirms that the Ice-type gym leader, Grusha, is not the strongest of the 8 gym leaders, which to me makes a lot of sense. It would be weird to show off the final gym leader so early. I don't think they're even going to show us who the final gym leader is. But my personal take is, I do think it's going to be the Psychic type gym leader. That is the one gym leader we did not see a leaked image of from the gym leader leak. So we've seen 7 of the 8. We have not seen the last one. So I wonder why this last gym leader is so secretive. Maybe they had to do with the main plot or something. Maybe they're part of the evil team. Could be a Giovanni situation potentially. We're just going to have to wait and see. And apparently Grusha is not even the final 2 gym leaders. So I have a prediction that maybe Psychic is the last one, and then maybe Ghost is the second to last, and then we got Grusha as the 6th gym leader potentially. Hopefully we get a really cool ace Pokemon for the Psychic and for the Ghost type gym. I mean, there's a lot of good Ghost type Pokemon. Potentially could be Ceruledge being the ace for the Ghost type gym, and then Armarouge being the ace for the Psychic type gym. And then Riddler Khu gave us a brand new riddle to solve, and he put out this riddle here: MHJMM GWJSE KHLWY. And this is in Pinyin, which is a different language. And when you actually translate what he says here, it ends up being the names of the final 3 starter forms, which is really interesting. Of course, the translations don't ever work from Chinese to English, so it's going to be a bit different, but we can get a good idea of what they're actually going to be based on from here. So Armashuna has a good example here. So Sprigorito's final form, Face Mask Flower, Magic Cat. Fuecoco is Ghost, Chicken, Dead, Croc. Quaxley, Peacock, Wax, Dance, Duck. And then one that I actually liked a lot more personally from Donald here. Sprigorito stands for My TY Riddle, Magical plus Mask plus Cat. Fuecoco, Musical, Ghost King, King of Music, Metal Music, Horror, Cockatrice, Jazz, and Crocodile. And Quaxley, Carnival, Lead, Wave Dancer, and Duck. So I really want to focus on this one because I think this nails what you have already seen from the leaked images of Quaxley's final form and for Sprigorito's final form. I mean, Sprigorito's final form definitely has that jester vibe. We know it has a wand too. So Magical Cat makes a lot of sense to me. So it's pretty cool. And we know it's wearing a mask as well from that leaked image. Fuecoco, we have not seen any leaked images of the final form, but everything we have been described about it so far is we know it was a singer, and we know it's going to be a fire and a ghost type. So Jazz Crocodile makes a lot of sense to me. Something like King of Music makes a lot of sense too. And we know that it's going to have a flaming bird on its head. So that could potentially be like a crown. So I can see where King of Music comes from for Fuecoco's final evolution. Then Quaxley, we know it's going to be like a carnival peacock, sort of like a Spanish dancer. And this is a really good description of it. I mean, carnival is definitely what was the first thing I thought of. It really does seem like these starter final evolutions are taking a lot more from South America than from Spain. I mean, obviously Spain took over South America historically. They colonized them, but it really seems like a lot of this inspiration is coming more from the South American side of things, which I really think is cool because that's a very underrepresented area of the world. And of course, Riddler Khu has more things to say. Riddler Khu says, when you start playing this game, keep in mind that the book will tell you everything, but it's not a guidebook, everything about the truth of Paldea. So I'm sure there is some sort of storybook in the game that is going to have a prophecy or some sort of mythos that's going to be very related to the actions and story of this game. Probably teach us the secrets of Paradox Pokemon and maybe even terrestrializing Pokemon too. So that's going to be really interesting to stay tuned. And Riddler Khu then says, Dex descriptions for Paradox Pokemon are written like gossip on tabloids. For instance, Future Moth, which is the Pokemon Violet exclusive Paradox Volcarona, is an Apocalypse weapon. So end of the world weapon sounds like it's pretty crazy. So I get what he's saying. Like, they're over exaggerated, they're overhyped, they're not necessarily true. Sounds like maybe it was written by a kid, right? And we already know what the secret Paradox Pokemon are. So maybe it was all dreamt up by some sort of kid named Arvin, potentially, right? And then he says this in Chinese, and when translated, it essentially means all Paradox Pokemon are going to be genderless, which is really interesting. So we're not going to be able to breed Paradox Pokemon, which makes sense. They're like Ultra Beasts. You can't breed Ultra Beasts. So when we catch them, that is what it is. You know, you can't breed them for special moves or anything like that, which makes a lot of sense. He also tweets this out in Chinese, and it translates to Cannonball Launch. We don't really know what this means, but I think this is a hint at the Pokemon Violet exclusive Paradox Delibird. Doesn't really provide any more context on this at all. And then he says episode 73, but it ends up being called the episode The Ancient Puzzle of Pokemon-Apocalypse, which is essentially the episode where there's like these kaiju-like Pokemon with Jigglypuff, Gengar, Alakazam all fighting each other. And it's a really cool episode. They're all massive, destroying stuff and each other. And then you have to calm the beast with this like flute and bell. So it's a really cool overall. But he's essentially saying that Paradox Pokemon are kaijus. So I bet they're all going to be massive. And I think that's pretty much the big thing here is all these Pokemon are going to be huge, and we're going to have to defeat these beasts. And I'm really looking forward to doing that in the story. Riddler Khu then says, can't wait for early game leakers to post a pic of 3 new Pokemon that we will not be able to have in the base game of Scarlet and Violet. Now, what are the 3 Pokemon that we think it could be? Well, one is the 3rd legendary, and we know that the other 2 Pokemon are Paradox Pokemon coming to the DLC. Pokemon Scarlet is getting the exclusive Pokemon Suicune as a Paradox Pokemon, and then Pokemon Violet is getting the exclusive Paradox of Virizion. So I'm assuming beginning of the game, we're going to see Paradox Suicune, Paradox Virizion, and then the 3rd legendary in some way, shape, or form. and then they're not going to be in the game code, and we're going to have to wait till the DLC to actually obtain those Pokemon. And that is how they're going to make it so we want to buy that DLC and spend like an additional $30. Now, for Riddler Khu's last tweet, he says, DLC has some cool new features, but you have no chance to know them in advance. Reveal 1 point. PK Hex-like features, don't miss it. This is massive to me because if you don't know what PK Hex is, it's a save editor for Pokemon games where you can essentially generate any Pokemon. You can check if they're legal or not. You can change their abilities. You can change their moves, change where they're captured, yada, yada, yada. If they put something like this in the game, it's going to make competitive Pokemon so much easier for us to break in. We're not going to be so reliant on playing on Pokemon Showdown and then taking forever to breed and generate our Pokemon in the game, or using third-party tools like PK Hex to bring in Pokemon illegally to use in ranked play. So I really am excited for something like this, at least something that makes it so it's super easy to change the ability and moves of our Pokemon, to change the IVs and EVs very easily, and it doesn't take forever to grind it and farm it out. This is a dream for me personally as a big competitive player, hopefully for VGC in 2023. So I'm super excited for this, and you guys should be too. Well, guys, that is a massive episode of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news and leaks, and this is honestly really fun. We are now a month away from the release of the games, and honestly, guys, what do you want to see from these games? Like, what are you looking for the most? Right now, like I said, Dunsparce's evolution is definitely what I'm looking for the most Pokemon-wise, but honestly, I'm really excited to see how Terrestrialize is going to affect competitive play. I think it's going to have a massive impact. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video. We're trying to hit that 8,000 subscribers soon. Peace out, guys, and have a great one.